When it comes down to how far can you run, when it comes down to how much can you push yourself past the part where you want to quit, how far can you keep going? There's a purity in that it dissolves social order, all the what people think about you goes out the window. It's who are you right now?
That's a true statement, man. And I look at it as psychological warfare. And that's where I started learning that life is one big psychological warfare that you play on yourself. You play on yourself, man. The most important conversation I ever had is with myself. And the thing I was telling myself was so tough, it was so wrong, it was so misguided. And other people start to write that dialogue for you also. And it starts to be what you say to yourself every single day. And I started creating a whole nother warfare, a whole nother battle started becoming. I was like, oh, hang on a second, Goggins. You have these tools. You have these tools. Your life was basically the perfect grounds for training for where you need to go in your life. Your struggle is what made you who you are now. So I started flipping this into a whole different, I started being a master of what I was scared of. I was scared of my mind.
You're so honest about your vulnerabilities and how you overcome them. And for people that see someone who's a beast, who's done great things, you just assume that they're different than you. But then you hear about your insecurities and your pitfalls and all the things that went wrong with you, and you realize, well, God damn it, those are the same things that go wrong with me. Like maybe I have that inside of me and I've just never summoned it.
We are our minds. Your mind. The thing that is listening and comprehending these words right now, that is you. And that thing, that mind, you can control. You are the machine, and you can control the machine. You've got to detach from the problems or the stress that you're experiencing so that you can get that perspective of them. Now, if it's something that you can control that's causing you stress, well, why aren't you getting control of it? Generally, it's a lack of discipline. So you gotta have the discipline to grab control and make it happen. And when I say you need discipline for that, what that means is these stresses that you're avoiding, they're not gonna go away if you avoid them. So take the discipline to face the stressful situation. Get ahead of it. Don't be afraid of it. Now, there's also stress that's caused by things that you cannot control. So if you can't control something and you can't get control of it, you have to at least embrace what you can. If there's something that's completely beyond your control, you've got to detach from it and not let yourself get stressed about it. And on top of that, if it's something that you can't control, how can you look at it in a different light? How can you see it in a way that you could actually take advantage of it? How can you take that stress and make it into some kind of ally? So when it comes to stress, don't fight it. Turn it on itself and use it. Use it. Use it to make yourself sharper and more alert. And use it to make yourself think more and learn more and get better. And use that stress as a catalyst to make yourself better. If you're gonna make things happen, you've got to be aggressive to make things happen. You know, I always say to people like, oh, they want to make money. I'm like, oh, you used to make money. You have to take that money. It not gonna fall in your lap. It's not gonna make itself. You have to take it if that's what your goal is. And that's the same thing with anything in life. The more I hold the line, the stronger the hold is, the better the grip is. Discipline enforces discipline. What causes that switch to flip? the overdrive, the beast mode, the full-on destroyer that will not stop. I think it's actually, it is something that's learned, I think. And I think it's a hard lesson. I don't think everyone gets it. And I think some people go through life without ever getting it. And I'll tell you, it's an important lesson. It's a critical lesson. It's a thing that allows you to go the extra distance, to dig just a little bit deeper and push a little harder, to get after it. And like many other things in life, there's a dichotomy, because it actually takes, in my opinion, two opposing forces to bring it to life. It takes both emotion and logic for you to reach your maximum potential, to really give everything you have and go beyond your limits. Because both emotion and logic, they're going to reach their limitations. And when one fails, you rely on the other one. So when it doesn't make sense, logical sense to go on, that's when you got to use your emotion. That's when you got to use that anger, that frustration, that fear to push yourself harder. To push yourself to say, I don't stop. And when your feelings are screaming that you've had enough, and when you think you're going to break emotionally, you got to override that emotion with the concrete logic and willpower that says, you know what? I don't stop. So you fight the weak emotions with the power of logic, and you fight the weakness of logic with the power of emotions. And in the balance of those two, that's where you find the strength and the tenacity and the guts to say to yourself, I don't stop. And you won't. I got so much on my plate. No, you don't. You have too much on your plate. You're just not focused when you need to be. You're just not you're just not attacking the problems. You're probably sleeping late. You're probably not focused. You're probably on the interwebs when you should be getting work done. You're probably listening to, music while you're trying to work and getting distracted. And so what's the easiest thing to say is, I think I got too much on my plate. I need to get rid of some stuff. This is an example. Have you ever had something where it's something that's going to take you like 20 minutes, but it hangs over your head for a month and it becomes this sucker of mental power? How many of those things do you have? And how many can you actually deal with before it starts ruining and losing your focus because you're not... So these little 20-minute tasks or half an hour tasks that you don't do because you put them off and procrastinate, those are the ones, get those things out of the way. Okay, you got too much stuff on your plate? Go get some of those things off your plate. They take a half an hour. There's so many things that you can get done in a half an hour if you just get on them. Likely, it's not that you have too much on your plate. It's just that you need to focus. You need to get stuff done. You need to quit wasting time.